Oh, what are we talking about today?
Bean Dad.
Bean Dad. What's up? I'm Percy. Cooper's doing the sound effects. What's up? I'm Percy. This is Mercy. Mercy's
watching the show.
Ooh. Welcome to the brand new, hit, critically acclaimed, internationally lauded morning show called the Every day, we upload a short little video that's hopefully something inspiring, motivating, educating, and a whole lot distracting. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by soon.
By a week after New Year's.
Whenever.
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know.
I am one of them.
We think
I'm not one of them?
we think she unsubscribes and resubscribes and unsubscribes. We don't know. She's... Today is Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. It's something called Bean Day. Cooper's excited about Bean Day. National day that commemorates the geneticist Gregor Mendel, whose experiments with breeding pea plants form the basis of modern genetics. Which I thought was the perfect day to talk about
Bean Dad.
Bean Dad. Internet and Twitter was quite alive with yesterday. 2 days ago for you, in your universe. So Bean Dad is a guy named John Roderick. John Roderick, I believe, is a musician and also has a podcast he does with another guy, Ken Jennings, who is a very popular person in the Jeopardy universe. John Roderick gets on Twitter and he says this. So yesterday my daughter, 9 years old, was hungry and I was doing a jigsaw puzzle. So I said over my shoulder, make some baked beans. She said, how? Like all kids do when they want you to do it. So I said, open a can and put it in a pot. She brought me the can and said, open it how? She studied it and applied it to the top of the can sideways. She struggled for a while and with a big dramatic sigh said, will you please just open the can? Apocalypse Dad was overjoyed. A teaching moment just dropped in my lap. This goes on for like 6 hours. This kid struggles to figure out how to open up this can of beans. I think she finally figures it out. That's a story of his about a teaching thing he was trying to do with his kid. Internet erupts, Twitter erupts. I think mostly on the side of, dude, that is not a great way of teaching your child. She's hungry, just show her how to do it. Like, she doesn't have to be starving to teach her something on how to open a can. There's other ways of doing this, right? There's a lot to this to unpack. I think one big one is context. I think context matters a lot. Like, I don't want to come out on defense of John Roderick. I don't know who he is. I barely looked into the guy. I do know there are some tweets people take issue with that are old of his. I'm not defending him. I don't want to defend his character. I don't know how he is as a dad. I do know that Ken Jennings came out, the guy from Jeopardy, and he said he's a very loving and attentive father. Ken Jennings knows John Roderick quite a bit. They do this podcast together. But I will say this about context. A bunch of years ago, buddy, me and Mommy were at a 4th of July thing over at the lake, right? Big 4th of July. It gets really crazy in Chicago, 4th of July. Like, millions of people show up. We're walking back from the fireworks. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, like people walking in the street, disrupting cars. It's kind of chaotic. There's a lot of cops around to try to make sure everything's okay. Well, we go by this alley. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a large man, a grown man, holding the wrist of what looked like a young girl, a young person, young woman, and pulling her. And I thought that looked weird. I thought that looked strange. Why would a man be yanking on the wrist of a woman, right? She clearly doesn't want to go with him. So I started walking down that alley yelling at this guy, ready to start fighting this guy to make him unhand this woman that he's grabbing. Feels like someone needs to help this woman. She's in distress, and I guess I'm gonna try to do something about it. As I'm walking up to them, another woman jumps in front of me and says, no, stop. That's her stepfather. Please go. Like, this is okay. I'm her mom. So this mom is telling me that everything's fine and I shouldn't get involved. Now I realize this might not be what I think it is. It might just be kind of a teenager in an argument with her family. He wasn't hitting her. It looked like he was really just trying to get her to go with them back home. Physically, I asked the teenager if she was okay. She said yes. I mean, she was still clearly crying, but she didn't look like she was being hit. She wasn't bruised or bleeding. We left because it looked like this was something that now maybe I shouldn't be involved with. There's really nothing I can do to help or should be helping with. This is something that they're figuring out on their own. I did tell a cop when we walked out of the alley, hey, there's maybe a domestic disagreement there. You might want to check it out. That then became all that I felt like I could do or should do. So I bring this up because you see how really quickly it looked like one thing, but really quickly became another. Just with just a tiny little bit more context, I really had no idea what was happening. I thought I needed to get involved, and then it became something else. And I feel like that's a little bit of what happens really quickly on places like Twitter. We think we know what's going on when someone like this John tweets a few things, but do we have no idea how this kid feels about her? Maybe she's overjoyed that she learned how to open up a can and make herself a can of beans on her own. Right? Maybe that she loved that lesson. We have no idea.
And she did also say that that was the normal time between eating and meals.
I don't want to defend the guy. This isn't how I would teach you, right? Like, I don't make you struggle through something for 6 hours.
Except I already know how to open a can of beans, so you technically don't need to
Right.
teach me.
I think our way of teaching is more like, hey, let's do it together. I'll do it so you can see it a time or two or whatever, and you try. I won't let you really fail through it for 6 hours. So this isn't my parenting style, but it's also not my place really to criticize John's parenting style. Some people claimed he was being abusive. I mean,
What does that mean?
well, some people think it's child abuse not to feed your kid for 6 hours, which is,
Which is again what I mentioned.
yeah.
It's the normal time between their meals.
Right. You don't maybe not eat for 6 hours unless you're sleeping, and we make sure to like take snacks constantly so that we don't get hangry, etc. But if you didn't eat for 6 hours, I wouldn't say that was child abuse. It's not something we would do though, but come on. The big lesson I think I'm trying to get at is be careful about judging people. Be careful about judging people that you see on the internet because we barely know anything about this situation, but we are quick to draw conclusions, right? Just like I was quick to draw a conclusion about what was happening in that alley, and I didn't really know what was going on. But I'm like ready to like fight about it and do something kind of dramatic, which probably wouldn't have been good for any of us had I gotten involved in something with that little context maybe. You know what it's time for.
The joke of the day, also known as the Cooper Pony
Sweet.
Except she's really a seahorse.
Oh,
But she's really, really a pony. But she's really, really, really a koala. But she's really, 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 really a raccoon. I'll do some weird stuff tomorrow.
Not today though, right?
Well,
you were
today
holding
was
back
weird.
the weird?
Okay, I can already tell this is gonna be
Yeah.
a weird one.
Yeah. Hey, Merce,
Yeah.
it's Bean Day today.
Easy.
Yeah, we're talking about Bean Dad, of course, on Bean Day.
Of course. Wow, that's so coordinated.
Yeah, so strange. So I've got this great recipe for black bean soup. Do you know a secret to my recipe, Merce?
No.
It's the number of beans I put in my bean soup. Do you know how many beans you should put in to make the perfect bean soup?
I thought you usually just did like a can of them.
No, I'm much more accurate than just a whole can.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah, the correct number, Merce, is 239.
What?
Yeah, because one more would be
240. Wait, I don't get it.
Cute.
What's the name of the joke teller?
Oh, that joke. Thanks, buddy. That joke was posted by Crash_86 on Reddit. Thank you, Crash. Thank you so much for watching these weird videos. If you're new here, please subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Don't do the weird eye thing. I think it scares people. Don't do that.